which is one of the products available in the Moxi Work suite. In order to access MoxiWorks, you're going to go to 21 Online. You have two areas you can sign into, up in the top right-hand corner and down left. So we're going to sign in. You will be using your credentials that you received when you joined the company. It's typically set up as your first name last name at century21.com. If you do not know your credentials, reach out to me, let me know, and we can figure that out for you and help you get into your 21 Online account. So once you are in your dashboard for 21 Online, most of the tools that you are going to want to visit on a daily basis are going to be found in the Productivity Hub. So we're going to navigate over to that. And as you scroll down the page, you can see you have tiles available here for you to use. So we're going to go to Moxi Engage, since that's what we're going to be talking about today. So you can see here, I have the Moxi Engage tile. And to make your life easier, make sure you are just adding this to your favorites. So you're just going to heart this in the top right-hand corner of the tile, and it's going to add it to your favorites over here on the left. So you won't have to navigate to the Productivity Hub. You can go right over to your favorites and be able to get a quick launch into the tile that you want. So we're going to access Moxi Engage. When Moxi opens, it is always going to open to this page. It's always going to open up to your profile. It's going to be called My Account. If there are any changes that you would like in this section, please let me know. We do need to make the changes in Dash. So if you have a change in your contact information, or you want to update your bio or social media links, let agent services know, let me know, and we will have that added to the back end. And that's going to be important if you are doing presentation in Moxi Present, and also for your website, to make sure that your bio is there, and along with your social media links. So we are going to navigate to Engage up here on the black toolbar. These are the modules that are available in MoxiWorks, and we're going to focus on Engage. So Engage is the CRM portion of Moxi, and you will not see that. That's just because of the type of account I have. When you come into Moxi Engage, you are going to open up to your dashboard. So this is going to house all of your contacts, your sphere, potential clients. You can have farm areas set up, but this is going to be the dashboard for Engage. And we can see right away, I have some people in the stay in the flow section. Now, you might not have anyone in your Engage account yet, but you are, before you start to get your Engage account up and running, it is going to ask you to connect a Gmail account. So once you go through those steps to connect your Gmail account, if you have any contacts in your Gmail account, they will sync into your Moxi.
I saw something off the side of the trail.
Now, you may or may not want all the contacts that came over in your over into your Moxi Engage account from Gmail, and we can fix that. But you might not have any contacts in there. So we have a few ways that we can manage and import contacts into your database. So we are going to come back to the dashboard and talk through some of these items here, but let's go into People, My People. If you ever get lost in Moxi Engage, always come back to People, My People. It'll kind of center you, and then you can get your bearings. So we're going to People, My People, and this is going to open up your database. Now, you might not have anybody in here and it'll be blank, but you can see I do have some people who came over from my Gmail account. So my labels in Gmail are going to flow into my Moxi Engage account. So in my Gmail, I have a C21 AllPoints label, and that's going to be considered a group in Moxi Engage. You can see I have some friends and family set up in here. I set this group up in Engage. You can also see that group in my Gmail contacts. So the information is going to flow back and forth. So let's say you have a database of 5,000 people that you want to add to your Moxi Engage account. The best way to do this is via a spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet can be found when you go and click on Add People. And we have two options. We have just one contact. We're just going to click on single contact, but we want to import contacts. And right here, we can see we have the opportunity to download the CSV file. It's very important to make sure that your contacts are on this spreadsheet. They will not import into your Moxi Engage account unless they are on this CSV file. The headers in the CSV file are mapped back to Moxi, so everything gets into your account the way it's supposed to, and it falls into the right fields. So you can only do 2,500 contacts at a time on the CSV file. So if you had a database of 5,000 contacts, you would just have to break it down into two spreadsheets to upload. So if this seems overwhelming, reach out to me, reach out to Agent Services. We will make sure that we can help you get those contacts formatted on the correct spreadsheet and uploaded into your account. So this is one way to get your contacts into Moxi Engage. As I mentioned, when we first opened up this menu item under Add People, you can do a single contact, and that makes it very simple. So if I click on single contact, I can just put in that contact's information and put in as much information as you have. So full names, phone numbers, email addresses. If you have their home address, even better, put that information in. Maybe you don't know the street name, the actual street address, but you know that they live in Trumbull, and you can just pop in that zip code right there, and that will become helpful later on. If you have any other information that is going to help you just connect all the dots with your contact, put that information in. So social media handles, you can put in their relationships, dates. Dates are important. So there are automated drip campaigns set up within the system that you can add people to. So birthdays, anniversaries, house anniversaries. You heard Patty talk about that last week on last week's Wednesday workflow. So these are all dates that you can add into a contacts record. And all you would do once you put in that information is click done. So I am already in my own database. So I'm going to hit cancel there, and I'm going to go back to people, my people. So now we are looking at my contact database in Moxi Engage. I am going to open up this particular contact. So now I am in the contacts record. So I've added this contact already, or they came over from my Gmail contacts, and I have opened up this contact. Now, I don't have any subscriptions added for this particular contact, but I do have them in a group. So one of the things I can do from here is I can add a subscription right from inside my contact. You can also do this in bulk from that people, my people screen, and I'll show you that as soon as we get this set up. So the most important thing about Moxi Engage is staying in front of your sphere and providing value. So one of the ways you can do this is by setting up a neighborhood news subscription. So I'm clicking on subscriptions, and you can see I have two options here for neighborhood news or listing announcements. We're going to focus on neighborhood news. So neighborhood news will go out every 30 days to the person you have subscribed. So we're going to click on add subscription, and we have two options for adding that subscription. We can do it quick by that postal code, the zip code that we've added into their contact profile, or we can do a custom targeted search. So where that custom targeted search comes in handy is if you really want to get granular and send information that is particular to that person's neighborhood. You can circle the radius on a map and get that very granular information for them. Or you can do that broader search and it'll be based on their zip code. So let's go ahead and do this very broad search. And you can see I did not have a zip code in my contacts record. So I can go ahead and plug in a zip code. But if I had his home zip code in his contact record, you would see it here. And it's going to bring up the email address automatically based on what's in the contact records information field. If there's multiple email addresses that I have put in the contact record, it will show me all of the email addresses that are available. So we only have the one in there, and I'm going to plug in a zip code, and we are ready to send this message. So we can see there is some canned text here. It is going to deploy with the very first email that goes out in the neighborhood news series. So you can change this in here if you wanted to put something different in here. It's just giving them an overview of what they are receiving and that they can change the zip code. And that's the most important and I think unique feature of this is that they can change the zip code. So I'm just going to click on done, and this is going to deploy that email. So now this neighborhood news campaign is set up. I can see at a quick glance when I created it and when it is next going to send. So July 19th, he's going to receive another updated email with the neighborhood news for 06611. You can always go back and see what they've received. You can preview if you need to edit the zip code, or maybe they said they received it, they deleted it by accident, you can send it again. And then you can also remove that subscription if they've asked you to remove. The nice thing about neighborhood news is that you can always see what the activity is. So we can see that I have subscribed, Matt, to neighborhood news, and I see right off the bat what the zip code is. And then we can see that that email has deployed from the. Once he opens that email, Moxi Engage is going to register that activity, and it's going to register that open. And then once he starts clicking around, so let's say he opens that email and he clicks on it to open up the expanded report. Now I'm getting a very good visual on the engagement that he is having with the neighborhood news campaign. And then to take a step further, if he goes and changes that zip code, I'm going to be able to see that the zip code has changed. And now he's looking at a different area. So you can really start to gauge what someone's level of interest is based on how they're interacting with your neighborhood newsletter. And again, this is going out automatically every 30 days based on the zip code that you've set them up for. So this is an amazing touch campaign where you can just set this up and really just forget about it and let it do its job and keep you in front of your contact while providing them that really valuable information. Okay, so we're going to go back to results. And this is going to bring me back to my people. So as you start to add people into your Moxi Engage CRM, you want to make sure you're creating groups. So one of the areas here where you can create groups is called Edit Groups. So you can see I have some groups already created. I created some of these in my Gmail contacts, and I created some of these in my Moxi Engage account. You can see they both sync up seamlessly. If you want to create a new group, you just click on the plus, add in that group name, hit create, and I need to move my Zoom bar, and hit save. And it's as simple as that. It is very important that you have everyone grouped. And this is important when you're setting up those automated campaigns. There's a campaigns tab here. And within those campaigns that are already built out, they are segmented by, a prospective buyer, a prospective seller. It could be a past client. So you want to make it as easy as possible for you to be able to identify which groups you're sending messaging to. And you want to make sure that that aligns. So putting everyone into a group is very important. And again, like I mentioned, we can bulk load everybody into neighborhood news. We can do the same thing for groups. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So let's say I want to take all 16 people here. I'm going to select all. So we have all 16 people I have in this database, and we have selected them. We're just going to navigate to add to. And we can see we have options here. We can group, we can do neighborhood news. So for the neighborhood news, we would go through the same steps we did previously. I would just have to plug in a zip code here. Now, let's say I don't know anyone's zip code. This might be a farm. I don't know their zip codes. I can just set everybody up on one zip code, and then they have the ability to change that. And then you can start to see what areas you're looking at. So you can go ahead and plug in that zip code and set everybody up. You would apply to all and then set everybody up. So I'm not going to inundate everyone with that. So I'm just going to back out of it. So we still have everyone selected. And now we want to add them to groups. So we have everyone selected and we're going to click on groups. Now here I have the ability to add anyone to a particular group. So I'm going to add everybody to my test group. And then now I'm just going to click done, and we can watch this happen in real time, that it's going to update and everybody is now in the test group. Okay, I need to get the Zoom bar out of the way.
Dena, can you add more than one group?
Absolutely. So let me go ahead and select all, add to groups. I can add friends and family, buyers. I'm going to add to multiple groups and I can click done, and we'll see that everyone gets added to the multiple groups. So the more you can group your contacts, the better. Now, if you decide that you want to add your contacts from your Gmail, you can do that. So that would require you creating the contact in your Gmail account, and it'll flow over into your Engage account. It's not instantaneous. It does take about 24 hours for the two to sync, but it is one way of doing it. Or you can just come in here and set a single contact up, or you can do the import. So you have multiple ways of doing this. I'm going to deselect everyone. Okay. Let's say,
Sheena, what if you do have duplicates when you, collect all those contacts from your Gmail? Do they
So-
eliminate them?
Gmail, when it syncs over into your Engage account, Gmail will identify the duplicates and clean it up within your Gmail account before it pushes the information over. If you do a direct import into Moxi, it will not recognize the duplicate. So you would have to remove one of the contacts if you run into any duplicates. If you remove a contact from your Moxi Engage, it does not remove it from your Gmail contacts. It'll remain in your Gmail contacts. If you remove a contact from your Moxi Engage, it just puts them in a folder that you will not see anymore. They aren't completely removed, so you can always restore that contact, but just bear in mind that it's not going to remove any contacts from your Gmail account. So your contacts will always remain intact in your Gmail account.
Thank you.
Yep, I have that. Okay. All right. So there is an option over here. It's called Categorize Wizard. So you can, if you have a lot of contacts in here, nobody has a group, and it's a bit of a free-for-all, Category Wizard is going to be your friend. So if we click on Category Wizard, it's going to bring me up 6 people that are not categorized. So you can do this at chunks at a time. So if you have those 3,000 contacts in here and you need to start organizing everyone, this is a good way to do it, and do it in bite-sized pieces so it's not overwhelming and you can do it as you have time. So what this is doing, it's identifying whether someone's a client or a non-client. Now, every contact in your sphere has the potential to be, generate business for you. So, but here I have agent services email in here, so I know this is a non-client. So I'm just going to mark them as a non-client. And this is going to be helpful on my Engage dashboard when it's giving me recommendations every day of who I should reach out to. It's not going to tell me to reach out to agent services. So I am just going to say non-client, and then I have a way to now identify them further. I can say this is personal, friends, family, could be a collaborator, could be another realtor, it could be an attorney, mortgage lender, could be any one of those collaborators, or I can remove it entirely from my Engage account. So I'm never going to interact with agent services in my Moxi Engage account. I can just go ahead and remove them. And it will remove from Engage. We can see it's removed. Now, let's say, oh, Brett may potentially be a client. So I'm going to click on client. And now I have options. I can put him in different workflows. So I know he's not ready to sell or buy anything, but I want to stay in touch with him. I want to be top of mind. So I'm going to create a marketing plan. So if I go ahead and click on create marketing plan, it's going to ask me if this is a past seller, past buyer, or both. And I'm going to say none of these. So now Moxi is going to create steps for me to stay in front of my contact. So I'm going to go ahead and click create plan. And now this marketing plan is going to be ready to go. So not only is it going to come up in my workflow every day to remind me to reach out, but it's also going to give me steps I need to do on a certain cadence. And we're going to get into that in a second. All right, so I have the rest of these contacts. You can go through and it's just going to keep giving you 6 contacts at a time. So again, that was people, my people, and categorize wizard. So let's go into my record that I just created for Brett. Now you can see right here, I can filter for any of my contacts. So whether it's a first name I remember, a last name, maybe an email address or a group, I can plug in that search term and find that contact. I can also use the filters over here to do the same thing. So I typed in his name, it gave me the results. I'm going to click on his name to bring up his contact record. All right, clicking in to the contact to get into, sorry, I'm doing this without a mouse. I'm clicking on his name to get into his contact profile. And we can see I now have tasks in here. So it's going to recommend on a already preset cadence of when I should reach out. So here, the very first thing I can do is reach out on social media. So go to that person's, Instagram, Facebook page, see what they've been up to, comment on one of their posts. Sometimes it's easier to do that, reach out on social media, than it is to pick up the phone or send a text message. Maybe you haven't talked to them in 5-6 years. Sometimes just commenting on a social media post is a subtle first reach out touch point. So we can go ahead and do that. And once you have done that, you can mark this as done. So, and you can also change the date. Maybe you want to set up the neighborhood news subscription before you do a social media reach out. You can just change the dates. You would just edit here. But I'm going to say I've done this task. I'm just going to click done, and it should just bring it to the bottom. It's going to tell me it's completed. So I can see the next time I need to touch base is going to be July 4th, and I can set up a neighborhood news subscription. But maybe you want to do that now. So these are just going to give you the steps to stay in front of your sphere and give you the opportunity to provide something of value, to remind them that you are in the business. You can even reach out and use your Moxi Present. There's an option in there for doing a property review, which is like a mini CMA. Great opportunity to say, hey, I've had other people reach out to me and ask to keep them informed about what their home's value is. Would you like me to do the same for you? And you can do that within your Moxi Engage account. So lots of steps here, activities that you can take to stay in front of your contacts. I go back to results. And remember, always people, my people, and it'll kind of center you as to where you are in your account. So we came back to people, my people. We're going to revisit the dashboard. Now that we see we have our contacts in here, let's go back to the dashboard. So it's pulling 5 contacts every day for you to reach out to. So you can see here, I have my 5 contacts. And again, Moxi is built to keep you in front of your sphere. So this is exactly what it's doing. You can change the stay in the flow section. There is a little gear icon right here, and you can click on that. And you can set how often you want people to reappear in the stay in the flow section. So you have the options of 30, 60, 90 days, and that's going to be from the last touch point you've had with them. And then you have options here of what category that you want to appear in here. So you wouldn't want necessarily your personal, if it's your immediate family that you have in here and you have them labeled as personal, you may not want them to show up. But you might want your collaborators to show up because that's always a potential referral source too. You can choose these groups here of who you would like to show up. And then once you're done, you make those changes. And you can just click the gear icon again, and it'll update the section. So we can see we set Matt up with neighborhood news today. He was one of the people it's recommending that we have a touch point with, and we can go ahead and choose, we can mark this as done because we've already done it. We can also quickly do those steps right from this reach out button, set up a campaign. We've already done it from his contact record, so we can go ahead and click mark done. And we're going to log that activity. We should be able to, if you sent, so you can see there's an option here for email, non-engaged. So if you sent somebody an email from your Gmail, you can always track that right here and say that you've sent them the non-engaged email. And you can choose any of the options here. We can just go other. Neighborhood news. And now move my screen and I can log that as an action. And again, we just want to go through the 5 people. You can do the neighborhood news here. So same thing as when you bulk load people into neighborhood news, just click on neighborhood news. You can do that quick or the custom and set up the neighborhood news campaign there. You can also send emails directly from Engage to stay in front of your sphere. And you would do that just by clicking on this little envelope up here in the top right-hand corner, and it's going to bring up an email for you to start drafting. So you don't always have to go back into your Engage, and it will keep a record of when you sent the email in that particular contact's contact card. Any questions so far? I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you.
Dena, when you send an email from there, does it go from your Gmail account?
Yes, it's going to go from whichever email account that you have connected to your Moxi Engage account. So if you have, as long as you have a Gmail account connected to Moxi Engage, it will send from that email. The only time where it might get a little dicey is if you are, let's say you're using an opt online email, and you're forwarding your Gmail to your opt online, then it's always going to come from that Gmail address. So there's just certain instances that you want to bear in mind which email accounts you are actually using with your Moxi Engage. Because some people are using a different email for their day-to-day than the Gmail, and we're just forwarding. But yes, if you send an email out of Engage, it is going to come from your Gmail account. Okay, so we're still in Engage. We have our contacts grouped. We're ready to set up campaigns. There are a lot of campaigns, and I highly suggest you setting yourself up as a contact in your Engage account and signing yourself up for these things. So sign yourself up for neighborhood news so you can see exactly what it looks like. Set yourself up with the campaigns that are available to you in the campaign section of Moxi Engage. So you can see I have added 2 campaigns from the master campaign library to my account already. One of them is a client happy birthday, and then we have the holiday campaign. Now, if you don't have anything here in this My Campaign section, it means you don't have any campaigns added to your library yet. And all you would do is just come up here to the blue button, and we're going to add from library. And this is going to open up that master campaign, master library that's already pre-built for you. And these campaigns are great because the cadence for them is already set. The graphic is there, the text is there. So, and if you want to make any changes to the messaging, you can easily do that within the campaign. So come in here, get familiar with the campaigns that are available, add yourself to them. So let's say I wanted to add the FSBO campaign to my library. Very, very simple. I'm just going to click on add to campaigns. Maybe I'm curious, what does that even look like? What does that entail? I can always preview. So if I click on preview, it's going to show me each of the emails that are available in this campaign. And we can see they're going out. You got 2 weeks there. So all you have to do to quickly preview each of the campaigns is just up here above the graphic is toggle back and forth, and you can see what each of those campaigns looks like. Let's say now I've decided, okay, this looks like a great campaign for me to start sending to a particular farm. I can just go ahead and add to campaigns, taking it out of that master pre-built library and moving it into my own library. And here I can see the campaign is now awaiting setup. I need to add contacts to this particular campaign, and I can easily do that by clicking on the campaign name. So it's going to be in blue, and you're just going to click on that campaign name. And it's now opening the back end of the campaign. And we can see here, one of the first things it's asking me to do is add recipients. And this is where it becomes very important with your groups being set up. So we're going to click set up. And now it's going to give me the opportunity to add the recipient. So I'm going to click on add recipients. Now we had 2 options. One is it's going to list people out by individually. And if you have a lot of people in your database, it's going to get very tedious. And you can search by people, but now you have to remember names. So groups, let's click on our groups. This is what's going to make everything a lot easier. So we have our groups set up. We can see very quickly who our groups are. So you might have a group of prospective sellers, and you would just click on that group and add them to the campaign. So I will go ahead and I've added everybody to my here. I'm going to go people. I am just going to add, he's going to get a lot of email from me today. I'm surprised I haven't gotten a text message. I'm going to go ahead and click add. And I have now added Matt to my FSBO campaign. So you would just go through, you can add multiple groups. If you wanted to do individual contacts, you can add individual contacts. Up to you. Just again, groups will just make your life a little bit easier. So we're going to go ahead and click save. And it is now going to add him to my campaigns. So now I have a blue check. I can see I have recipients. Now we have the schedule. Campaign schedule is already set. Generally, you don't want to edit the schedule. Just because if you move one date, it will kind of move, it'll skew the rest of the dates in the series. So just be mindful of that. Edit the schedule only if it's absolutely imperative, because you will have to make other adjustments as well. But you can see here, this is the cadence of the emails that are going to go out. And again, if you need to preview again, you can always preview here.
Excuse me, Dena. Sorry about you. Can you create a campaign or create a message, to all your groups.
So
There isn't one already created in that campaign, if you just wanted to even send an email out to everyone.
So in order to, depending on what it is you're looking to send out to your groups. So if there isn't a campaign already set up in here that applies to what you want to do, then there's some work that has to be done. It will need to be formatted. You have to take an existing template and within that template, add in the messaging, add in the graphics that you are looking to send out. So there's some building of that campaign involved. It's pretty intuitive. There's a lot of drag and drop options in there. So if you have text, you can drag in a text box, drag in a spot for a graphic, but you will have to build that. Not necessarily from the ground up because you will have a template, but you will have to add in the messaging and all of the particulars that you have in mind for that particular campaign. And then if you wanted to add all of your groups, you can add all of your groups to that campaign. So if you're thinking a newsletter, there are newsletters available in here. There's a newsletter for a buyer and there's a newsletter for a seller. But you can always take one of those templates and put in your, pepper in your own information that you want to personalize or customize just a little bit more for your sphere.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so now I'm just going to run this campaign. Super simple. I'm just going to click run campaign. And now this is going to tell me I have one campaign running. And I can see here right on my campaigns dashboard, I can see that this is running. And then I can start to see the, where's my screen will not scroll, hang on one second. I can see when these emails are going to go out. You'll also notice you have information here for the open rate, click-through rate. It's going to give you a high-level overview of how your campaign is performing. You are going to get unsubscribes if you're doing a mass email campaign and you have, a farm group that you may not have had touch points with before. You're going to get unsubscribes. That's just kind of part of email marketing. So don't take it personal. Don't get offended. Unsubscribes are going to happen. If somebody unsubscribes on a particular email campaign, it is going to unsubscribe them from everything within the Moxi Works product suite. So there's nothing that you will need to do. You will get an email from Moxi saying that someone unsubscribed, but there are no further actions that you have to take to remove a contact from your database. It's automatically going to happen. So you can also see you're going to get those clicks registered. The highest performing campaign by far is neighborhood news. So if you are not going to do anything else, I highly recommend you do these other things, but if you're not going to do anything else, at least set up everybody in your sphere, in your database with neighborhood news. Every 30 days, updated market information. We get very high open rates on those and very low unsubscribes. So neighborhood news, super important. And you can always keep an eye on your neighborhood news campaigns by clicking on the neighborhood news tab. And you will also get your analytics for that particular campaign up here at the top. So you can start to see here. You can see I set myself up on neighborhood news, and you can see I viewed the full report. Matt has not opened up his subscription yet, but once he does, it'll tell me it was opened. So earlier I said how you can register activity in a contacts card. You can see I clicked on neighborhood news and then I viewed the full report. So it's going to track all my activity within that particular campaign. So you have a lot of opportunity here to stay in front of your sphere. Neighborhood news by far, you're going to hear us talk about that a lot. Neighborhood news by far is the most important campaign. All right, and there is a question. Okay, so if you have multiple contacts, neighborhood news, and they have different zip codes. So as long as you have a zip code in a contacts record, they can be set up on neighborhood news for that zip code. If you do not have a zip code for a contact, if maybe you met them at an open house in Weathersfield, put in that zip code for that particular open house where you met them. Or maybe if you don't know, maybe you don't know at all, you can set it up for the office zip code. You can kind of have to feel out, where did you meet the person? Do you know they own a home? Maybe they own a home in Bristol. Do a tax lookup and see if you can find their name, their last name, their full name in the MLS tax records in Bristol. And you can then, find out what their zip code is that way. So they have the ability to change that zip code. So even if it's not the zip code that they're interested in, right up at the top, it is telling them that they can change the zip code. This is where I encourage you, set yourself up on neighborhood news so you can see exactly how it behaves and see exactly what the subscriber is seeing. So I hope that answers the question. You have the ability to kind of put in the zip code that makes the most sense. Yes, if you have home addresses or at least a zip code for someone, all the better. So the more information that we're putting into a contact records card in Moxi Engage, the better. It'll help you direct where the messaging and the neighborhood news subscriptions. All right, I'm going to come back to the dashboard. So stay in the flow section. We went through some of the items here. Also within Moxi Engage, you can set yourself up to-do lists. You can also connect your calendar. So if you want to send, I'm going to go back into Matt's contact record. I have the ability to send happy birthday emails, anniversary emails, those house anniversary emails. And on that dashboard, if I have entered in a date in a contact records card, I can send a reminder to my calendar, and it's going to remind me, oh, his birthday's on Saturday. So when I come back to my dashboard, my calendar is connected. And I can open up my calendar, and it's going to tell me what my calendar looks like for the next few days. I happen to know his birthday is on Saturday, and I did not add it. Haha, hold on. People, my people. And I think this is one of the things Patty went over last week as well. So contact record, I'm coming back into the contact record. I have his dates. I added the date, but I didn't add it to my calendar. Click on add to calendar. It is now, and I can see it's been added to my calendar because I have the little calendar icon here. If I set up the birthday campaign, I just have to remember that's going to shoot me a reminder on my dashboard that I have a birthday on Saturday and I want to send him an email. And it'll send that happy birthday email. So there's multiple ways that you can stay in front of people. So it can be something, the holidays. We have a lot of holidays coming up. I believe tomorrow, yes, tomorrow is the first day of spring. Rewind. First day of summer. So there's a summer email that will go out tomorrow if you have people set up on the holiday campaign. So good opportunity right now. If you don't have anybody set up on a campaign, go in to campaigns, add the holiday campaign to your library, and start adding people to your campaigns. Of course,
Excuse me, Gina, I'm so sorry. Will this also add it to your Google Calendar if you put that in here?
So yes, this is connected to your Gmail, which
Okay.
means it's connected to your calendar. So if you're using your Gmail calendar, it's going to put your calendar right on your dashboard for Moxi Engage.
Okay, thank you.
If you add something here, it'll add it to your calendar on the Gmail side and vice versa. So you're going to get that reminder to reach out to that particular contact. So a lot of touch points, a lot of ways to stay in front of your sphere, keep your pipeline growing. Any questions so far?
Hi.
Hi,
So if you have contacts in LinkedIn, is there a way that you work with that?
So if you have contacts in any other platform, you would need to either export them out of that platform. And typically it's on it'll download it on an Excel or a CSV file. LinkedIn, if you have contacts there, you will need to do some manual work in order to go through your contacts to get their, full name, their email address, phone number, if it's on their LinkedIn profile. So there isn't really an easy way. Same thing with your social media channels. You just need to go through and it's also, this is a great opportunity to go through your contacts, go through the contacts in your phone, go through your email contacts, your social media platforms, and start to go through and see who could potentially be a good source of business. Who is somebody I want to stay in front of? So you would just need to download that spreadsheet from Engage. And I would suggest you start recording people on that spreadsheet. It'll make it easier to import them into your Moxi Engage account. But from the LinkedIn, you'll need to, that's going to take some manual work in order to record everybody's, you want to make sure you have a first, last name, email address, and phone number. You're more than likely, you could potentially get a zip code because some people have where they are located on their LinkedIn profiles, but if you at least have captured the email address, you can start sending out campaigns. Okay, I think that's a lot to digest. There are other types of things that you can do within your Engage account, doing e-blasts from Impress for your listings. There's listing announcements as well. Let's just go back to my people. I'm going to go back to this particular contact. One last thing I'm going to show you that you can set up under subscriptions. If I click on add, so you can see I have a history, an accounting of the subscriptions I have someone added to. There's one last option here. It's called listing announcements. Anytime you list or sell a property, you can elect to have someone get an email informing them that you have just listed a property or have just sold a property. This may not be in someone's area of interest. So I would say you can set it up, but I would also be careful if you have someone on a lot of campaigns already. We always want to be mindful of the cadence of those emails going out. So we wouldn't want to set someone up for neighborhood news tomorrow, and we know that that holiday campaign is also going out tomorrow. So we really want to make sure people don't unsubscribe, because if they unsubscribe, let's say they unsubscribe from a listing announcement, they're not going to get your neighborhood news. So you just have to be mindful of some of the campaigns that you set up and make sure that you're definitely setting up the most valuable ones first, and that's going to be your neighborhood news. All right. Any other questions? As you start to dive into this and really get hands-on, you will probably have some questions that pop up. Reach out to me, let me know. We'll help walk you through, guide you through. Even if you need to set up your account and you're at that really baseline point where you need to set up everything, just let me know. We can walk through it. If you've tried to go in here and start moving things around and adding people and you're getting hung up on certain things, again, let me know. We'll help guide you and get you in the right place so you can keep moving forward. All right. You have another question, Cindy?
I do. So, if you're, say I got these, contacts from LinkedIn, is it easier to just add them into Moxi, manually? Cause I gotta do it manually anyway, someplace, versus like putting them on a spreadsheet and then transferring them.
Absolutely. So when you are in your Moxi Engage, you just go to people and you can add people right from the people tab. So this is going to be a single contact. So we're not doing an import. We're just doing single contacts. I would just click on add people. And now it's going to bring me up that contact record where I can add in that person's information.
Okay, good. Save
It'll
lots of
streamline.
steps.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
So, take it, you don't have to sit down and think that you have to, figure all these contacts out at one time. Take it in bite-sized pieces. As you meet people, you can offer to, hey, are you interested in I have a newsletter on neighborhood statistics and what the market's doing. Would you mind sharing your email address with me? So as Tom, Shrum always says, don't be a secret agent. This is a great way to weave into the conversation that you can help provide some value to the email that you're sending them. They're going to get some neighborhood stats. Everybody's interested in what their neighborhood is doing in the real estate market. So great opportunity to kind of open up that conversation. And now you've captured their email address. So super simple to add these contacts in one by one. You don't have to, again, do this in, a chunk of 500 people at one time. You can do this, 5 a day, and just follow the recommendations on the Moxi Engage dashboard. So, okay. If there aren't any other questions, I think we can wrap this up. But again, I think the questions will come up as you start to get into your Moxi Engage account. Reach out, let me know, and we'll help you as best as we can to get your sphere up and running and making sure you stay in front of them.
I went through my, I created a group called My Agents for the offices, and I have most of them in my Gmail. So after I went into Gmail, looked at labels, and I saw the group. So I was able to do it from Gmail, like you said. I'm so glad I took this class. This was great.
No, good. Excellent. All right. I think we are good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone.